Hi everybody, Jennifer Blevin-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Hello again, and welcome to the second step of accessing PECOS. This is the second video of a two-step process. Please, if you have not checked out the first part, you would want to stop this and watch that because you might be a little lost if you don't watch the first video. This is going to be a continuation, and this has basically been put together by me in order to help everybody understand the steps that need to be taken before you can access the PECOS system. Just a refresher that the PECOS system is where all the Medicare contracting and credentialing activities take place. And we call this enrollment and reassignment when it comes to Medicare. So if you need to get a provider who's never worked under Medicare enrolled, or you need to enroll a new group that's new and or never billed Medicare, then you would need to go into PECOS and initiate those enrollments. If you are working on behalf of a group or a provider who has been already billing Medicare and you need to make some changes, or you have a new provider that's joining a group, then you need to do reassignment, and that's also done in PECOS. And from my previous video, the gatekeeper to access the PECOS login and website portal is the INA, or Identity and Access Management System portal, that HHS authorizes people to work on behalf of others. And you have to create a user login for INA in order to be able to access PECOS and MPPES, because all of the sites, access to multiple sites, is under the one account created here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump in, and I've already logged into my profile here. So I did the multi-factor authentication. So the home screen, oops, I think it bumped me out. 1 second, let's sign in. Now you can watch the whole sign in process. And they do the multi-step verification. So now I got to wait for my code to come through. So let me get that really quick. 986 882. Now you'll see that you're not the only person that has to do this multi-factor authentication. Everybody has to do it. So here we are. We're in the home screen of the INA, and you can see that you have some news and alerts over here. You can go the links for MPPS and PECOS, and you can see that I don't have any pending connections right here. Okay, this is really important from following up from our last video, where determining what kind of user you're going to be, and then what kind of role you're going to ask or request to work on behalf of groups and providers. You can see that I don't have any pending providers in here for myself, and I don't have any pending surrogates. Okay, and you have some other tabs up here. You have your profile, which will have all of your information. So if you need to update your email address, this is where you would do it. You have a My Connections page where you can see everyone that you are authorized to work on their behalf, and you can look at past ones that have been kind of, quote, revoked. Not necessarily that it's bad, but maybe you don't work for them anymore or something like that. So your access has been removed, which is appropriate. And then you have My Staff, so people who that you kind of manage their access to different things. I love this homepage because it keeps everything in one place. You can add a connection, you can add a staff member, and you can add an employer. So when you want to add an employer, you just come here, look for the organization if you're wanting to work on behalf of a group, right? Or if you're looking for a specific provider to work on their behalf and request working on their behalf, you can look them up by their name and their state. Woodstock Family Medicine. This is where I worked for 10 years. The doctor retired, so So I'm going to go in here and you can see that there's a lot of Woodstock family medicines that have come up, but I know which one it is because I worked there and I know that this was the address, okay? So I can view MPIs. It tells me their group MPI right here because it is an organization, and their location and their legal business name. You can view other names. So Woodstock Family Medicine LLC. So you can see all of this right here, okay? So if I want to request to work on their behalf, then I would do that down here, okay? Now, it's important to note, and that's why it's in here, that authorized officials and access managers, which we went over those roles in the previous video, will automatically have access to all business functions for their employer and any provider they have been granted access to. Staff end users must be granted access to business functions by an authorized official or access manager. So everything kind of gets granted automatically if you're requesting to be an authorized official or access manager. But if you're anything less than that, then the access manager or authorized official existing for the provider or the group will determine kind of what access and visuals you will have on their behalf. Okay. So you can choose to use your primary email address, which is up in your profile, or you can use a different email address, and then you can request the different roles. So if you're just a staff end user and you just, work in the office and you want to help, that would be appropriate. If you're a co-owner, like let's say I own this practice or I'm another doctor that, co-owns this, then I might want to ask for being the authorized official or the access manager. Okay. So those are the different options you can get while you're asking to find an employer. So you can search by employers, you can come here, and then you request what you want. Now, if I want to, let's just say I want to be a staff end user, hopefully I know the authorized official's name, which I would know it was Dr. Smith, and I fill out all the information in order for her to get this notification that I'm requesting to work on behalf. And let's just choose here, authorized official. I attest that I am an authorized official for the employer listed in the registration. So it's saying that you actually have legal rights to be an authorized official. If you ask to be an access manager, same thing as the staff end user, you have to know who the authorized official is. So this was what brings me back. So if you are a provider and you are starting a new group, an organization, you've gotten your MPI-2 and you search for them here and you can find it in the list. Woodstock Family Medicine, brand new, you are starting it. You're not even open the doors, right? Because you're doing contract and credentialing. You find it from the list, and then you have to tie it to yourself as the access manager. So you're going to say you're the as the authorized official. So you're going to say, yes, I own this, right? I have the legal authority because this is my business, but I still in this system need to be tied to that organization as the authorized official so I can sign off on all the paperwork that will need to be taken care of in PECOS and everything like that. So it's very necessary that even though you as a provider are in the INA system and your organization is in the system because you have an MPI-2, you still have to take this step and make yourself the authorized official so that you can move forward in this process. So you would hit this, submit, and then it will ask you for some paperwork. And actually, I can try this if Dr. Smith asks me about it. Okay. So in order to be able to do this for the INA people, the government to say, oh, yes, they are legally tied to this business, you have to submit your EIN document that you get from the IRS that shows your tax ID number and your name on it. And so you'll have to upload it, and you can do it here, and it talks about uploading the documents and what you would need. And then what happens is once you upload the document, see right here, add document, You hit done, and it will go to the INA system, and they will review everything. They look it up to see who the business owner is, and then they'll eventually approve you as the authorized official for the group. So once they do that, then you'll be smooth sailing and everything will be good. But a lot of people miss that step, that if you are an owner of a new organization, you need to come in here, find them as, quote, your employer, because I guess the group is your employer, right? That's who's going to be paying you. And you need to show that you're the authorized official so you can move forward with that. So this is one of the biggest steps. If you're a credentialing specialist and you log in under a provider and you cannot find their group listed in their connections when you're working on their behalf, then they haven't done this step. So this is really important. They have to be tied in this. You have to say that you're the authorized official, upload that special document, the CP575 from the IRS that has the name of your company and the tax ID, and then wait for it to get approved by the system. Okay. So that's a really big step here. Here are the instructions of how to set up your account if you're a sole owner, because you will have both an MPI and an organizational MPI too. And this will help you kind of figure out how to do all of this that we discussed as well, and how to register as the authorized official that we talked about for the organization. So this is that resource guide that I showed you. I really encourage you to come in here. It's very helpful. It's step by step. It has really nice screenshots to help show you everything as well. Okay, so I encourage you to use the resources that are available to you. Now, if you're a third party and you want to initiate a connection to be a surrogate for a provider, as an authorized official or an access manager, then you can log in. So, like, let's say I want to work on behalf of Woodstock Family Medicine as a surrogate, and instead of me going and requesting access as a staff end user or an access manager, like I just showed, I ask them to log into their own INA system. So, if you're a credentialing specialist, you would ask the provider, everyone who you have to work on their behalf. So individual providers that you would need to reassign or enroll in PECOS, as well as the organization, as well as the owners login. They would need to log in under themselves, and they can go and they can add a surrogate. And they would be able to find you in the list when they click add surrogate to grant you permission to work on their behalf under your own login. So you would not ever be logging in under someone else's INA login information. You log in under your own, and by them granting you the surrogacy, you would be able to do what you need to do for credentialing and contracting, whether that's in PECOS and MPPES, or just PECOS or just MPPES. Okay, so we're just going to go through here and I'm going to show you what that means. So, right here, for the search results, they can decide if they want to grant access to PECOS, the EHR incentive program, which I know they've made some changes to that. They did close it down, I think, in 2023. So I'm not confident that you can access that portal anymore with these credentials. That if you're interested in that, you would need to look into that further, because I'm sorry, I don't know a lot about that. Or the MPPES. So the provider would come in here, they would find you, they would say yes PECOS, yes MPPES, or yes only PECOS. They would click whatever boxes are applicable, and then they would confirm it on the next page that you are going to be giving the business functions of PECOS and PPES, and submit. And then you would get a notification, hopefully through the email address you have on file, that you've been granted surrogacy for a certain provider or organization. Now, if you're an owner provider and you have yourself and your group, the organization, you would have to do this for both of them. You would have to search and grant connections for someone for each of them. You don't just do one for both. You have to do it separately, okay? And these instructions are very helpful. You can go in here, read through them, do it step by step, pull it up next to you being logged in, and do this. This, I feel, is a little bit easier, getting the provider and the organizational provider to grant access by searching for the third party rather than the third party searching for the employer and requesting it, because then the email goes to provider, has to log in and approve it, where this makes it a little bit easier, in my opinion, where the provider just logs in and grants the access right here. Okay. And it says right here, once you select the submit button, an email will be sent to the provider or the surrogate, and a copy will be sent to the email address entered in the additional email if you put one there, notifying him or her of your surrogacy connection request. Please also note that you have not completed the connection request steps until you select the done button at the bottom of the Add Provider Review Surrogate Review page seen below. So right here, the done button would have to be hit in order for it to work. Okay. So I hope this helps. This has to be done, and you have to be confirmed in your connections page that you're working on behalf of a provider and a group before you can go do anything in PECOS. So if you log in to My Connections, or even your home page, and you still have pending here, then most likely you won't be able to work on anybody's behalf in PECOS until those are taken care of. But then once you go to your connections page and you see them listed under your connections, that means everything's good and you can go ahead and start moving forward. Go to the PECOS portal, log in. You should be able to see them there, the individuals and the organizations, because again, they're going to be listed separately. And then you can start working from there, whether you need to initiate enrollment for Medicare for an individual provider, initiate enrollment for a new group, or you need to reassign a provider to a new group. Okay. I hope this helps. Again, I will put the link to this quick reference guide in the video description. So please, please, please check it out, bookmark it, keep it at your fingertips. Once you do this a few times, you'll get the hang of it and you'll be like, oh, okay. It's just there's a lot of moving parts at first and it can be a little confusing. So use your resources. I hope this helps. Share this video with anybody whom you think would benefit, all of your colleagues. Please, I appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button if today's video was helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And again, I'm going to repeat myself. Please share this video with your colleagues. Take care of yourself. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.